Give us one over here.
Oh my God, I look like Stop it. Okay, thank you. Are we ready?
Yeah.
Are we ready? Okay, please, thank you.
Hi everybody.
Hi.
Hey. My name's Emily Weir. I founded Gender Critical Autistics. Hey, we do have some social skills. Yeah. I was diagnosed back in 2002, and we are less than 2% of the general population, but nearly half of child gender clinic referrals. Why is that? Recent Tavistock figures show that 48% of children referred to their gender clinic service had mild autistic traits, 35% had severe autistic traits. Again, we're less than 2% of the gen pop. The CAS review has warned that social transition, as encouraged by the GRR bill, is not a neutral act and puts children on a road to medicalisation and GnRH agonists. These are also known as puberty blockers, but there's no such drug. They're not approved for that purpose. They were used to chemically castrate sex offenders and are now being used to sterilise autistic children. When we know that autism is a hereditary genetic condition. I wasn't diagnosed for so long because I come from a long line of autistic people and we all thought it was normal. So Gender Critical Autistics wrote to the Scottish Government about the CAS review's interim findings, and they said that it's not relevant because it only applies in England. So they don't care about the over-medicalisation or medical experimentation or frankly eugenics attacks on Scottish children. We're getting the same conclusions coming out of Sweden, the Netherlands, Australia and the US, where the FDA has issued warnings about these drugs used to block puberty. So the Scottish Government say, how much more evidence do you need to prioritise the safety of Scottish children and autistic people? These drugs leave them sterile when we know it's hereditary. It might be unintentional, but this is eugenics. Now, our opponents would call this anti-fascism. So let's talk about fascism. I'm the women's officer for my local Communist Party branch, and far-right groups have plenty of files on me, so I know a bit about fighting fascism.
Woo.
So what is fascism?
Can you get closer on the
sure,
mic?
yeah.
And
Okay.
project. Yeah.
Yeah,
Brilliant. Thank you.
Okay, so what is fascism? Fascists support eugenics, and I've just said how the GCA opposes that. Fascists oppose free speech. They try to shut us down, while we never try and block trans speech. Fascists support bosses over the workers, for example by demanding your boss can sack you if they disagree with what you say on Twitter. Fascists support medical experimentation and correction of gay men and lesbians and disabled people and deny their freedom of association. And finally, this proves the lie that our opponents care about trans-identifying people. Fascists support prostitution, decriminalising the pimps and johns with no regard for their victims. The fascist Imperial Japanese Army abducted my grandmother's friends from Semarang and they called them comfort women. My granny always told me she was lucky to just be in a slave labour camp rather than the brothels. Nowadays the fascists call them sex workers, and we've still had no apology from the Japanese government, by the way. Last year, pimps and johns committed 62% of the murders of trans-identifying people worldwide, and that proportion rises every year. If you truly care about trans lives, and not just as a virtue signal, you would join feminists in fighting against the traffickers and the eugenics, and fighting for evidence-based medicine. And if you really want to oppose fascism, you pick the wrong side. Thank you.